All right, we are live. I am trying this out for the first time. So we are popping the live cherry. All right. Oh, probably no one will show up, and that's okay. We're just gonna play around with it. Lighting looks good. Hair on point. Thank God for good wigs, right? Let's see. I've got my lights. I've got my camera. I've got my live on air sign. It's pretty legit. I'm just gonna say, pretty legit. What else do we got? We got overlays. Like and subscribe. You should do that. You should like and subscribe. This will be more fun, obviously, when if I get folks in the chat and we can like tell jokes or work on jokes. It would be so fun actually to go over like what I've been working on, like some of my premises and stuff, and I can get some interaction. We can like build some jokes together. Because if y'all didn't know this, I'm very new at trying to be a comedian. I need all the help I can get. Um, so I have no worries asking, hey, like, what about this premise? What's this? Is this funny? And like maybe I can hear some new tags or something. That'd be really cool. So that could be really fun. So if you want, just comment below some jokey jokes if you have any. Let me pull up some of mine. Maybe I can give you some that I'm working on this week. Let's see here. I was thinking of, because the whole trans and Jewish thing, um, I'm also a middle child. Well, technically a middle child. Um, like third out of four. So I was thinking that might be kind of funny. Something about coming out as trans and Jewish at the same time in the middle of a culture war. It's really just because I wanted to get all the attention I could. Um, the middle child in me decided that this was a good time because I get all the attention I want. I don't know. There's something there, I think. I feel like now this is the second or third time I have tried to do something about being a middle child and transitioning and stuff for attention because it's like a common thing I hear is like, oh, you did this for attention or whatever. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Um, but the whole middle child thing, I feel like there's something there. So I'm not entirely sure. Um, I wonder where I'll see a chat, if I'll see a chat, because I don't know if I have this right. Oh, comments. Can I see comments? Posting a comment. Okay, show comments on stage. Oh, that's if you want them to stream on the thing. Okay, no, I can just pick one and then hit show. Hey, it worked. Cool. All right, we're having fun. We're having fun. But yeah, the joke premise of like middle child and attention, I think could be really fun. What else has happened this week that I've thought about writing about? Um, Graduating therapy. Uh, I told my therapist this week that I'm done with her. No more. I'm fixed. Don't y'all know? I'm cured. No, it was just something I thought long and hard about. I've been seeing a therapist for, gosh, I think I've seen this therapist consistently since May of 2023. Yeah. So she's been with me since I don't know how I can do this. Like, I don't want my life to end because of transitioning. I don't want to lose my job and I don't want to lose my wife. Like, she's been there for the whole thing, which is really cool, all the way up to coming out to the military, all the way up to the military band, and kind of the crash rumor, everything, face surgery, like she's seen the whole thing. I just now realized that. Like that's kind of neat. Um, I remember she gave me the space to present feminine in our sessions, which they're over Zoom, so I didn't have to go out or anything. But that was really interesting to do because I would dress up just for the Zoom call, um, as like a safe space just to be myself in front of somebody versus other people. And so that was kind of neat. But yeah, I fired my therapist. I didn't fire her. I just said like I don't think I need to see her um, regularly anymore. I'm doing really well, and I might check in with her in September just to see how things are going because there's just so much happening in my life every day. But I have a really good system. I think I've put a lot of good tools together to handle it. Staying grounded, as far as uh, not therapy. That's what I'm not doing anymore. Staying grounded as far as my different things like Jewish practice, Shabbat every week, like really using that to write my reflections and gratitude of the past week. Um, Fitness, staying mentally, not only mentally fit, but physically fit, I mean, and doing some sort of regular fitness and time to myself, which Shabbat helps with that too, because I try to abstain from most like social media and stuff for 24 hours every week. Um, I haven't been as good with that lately, but most Friday nights, sundown, I light my candles and I just take my time and um, just relax, and that's pretty nice to reflect and write things. I don't see a live chat, so I don't know if anyone's posting anything. If someone is posting things, I think I should be able to see it. Yeah, I don't know. Let me pull up the actual YouTube page and see what I can see. I gotta see myself seeing myself. Oh, God. Let's see how we do this. Go to my channel. And I'm live. Oh, that's a funny face. Oh, there is a live chat. Why am I not seeing the live chat in the tool? Let me mute this. So sorry, y'all. I see that it's here. Oh, now it's showing up. I guess because I didn't accept it, um, or something. I see in there. Tori, hi there. There, see, I got you up on screen. How cool is that? Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a really cool experience being on Kill Tony. Sorry, I gotta practice this. So Tori posted, "Hi there, you were awesome on Kill Tony," and I've got it up on screen here. And thank you so much. That means a lot. So you just jumped in. I was rambling about my firing of my therapist. Not really firing, but letting her know that I don't think I need to see her as much anymore. I'm cured. And then just talking about the ways and different things that I'm doing to stay grounded, so that way, hopefully, I don't, um, need to have a session. I guess I don't know if that's the right sense, but um, Shabbat, which is something as part of Judaism that I've been learning and practicing every Friday, 24 hours, abstaining from devices. I might listen to a book or something because I'm not really a reader when it comes to visually. I'm more of an audio type learner. So I might allow that or allow music, but what I try not to do is do any kind of social media. That's the big one. The kind of responding and reacting to things is very exhausting. And so on Fridays, I try to do a 24-hour while honoring the Sabbath. Light my candles, say my prayers. I do my little dinner, which is, I say the blessing. I welcome the Shabbat angels in, and then I do the toast um, for the wine, which most of the time I use grape juice, kosher grape juice, Kedem, which is really good. And then the hand washing, and which has got another prayer you say, and then the bread. So then you bless bless the bread. And there's this funny thing with if you're actually at a Shabbat dinner with other practicing Jews, what you're supposed to do is after you wash your hands, you're not supposed to say anything until you have a piece of bread. And it's like this fun little like hazing game where like you just kind of hum, and like if there's someone new there, sometimes they'll be talking because they don't know the kind of the deal, and like you just won't say anything, and it's really awkward, but it's kind of funny too. But it's just like this fun little like inside joke, I guess, that at least that was my experience. Maybe other people don't do that. Who knows? Um, but yeah, so that was fun. And then what else did I do? So then I eat some food, and I try to be more mindful while I'm doing that, because a lot of times I just eat real quick, run. I'm doing something while I'm eating, and so it really is a great chance to slow down. And other ways that I stay grounded with all this craziness going on in my life is yoga. I try to go to hot yoga, which is great. So CrossFit in the mornings, and then sometimes yoga in the evenings is really been helpful. I used to do 4 to 5 days a week of CrossFit, and with everything going on in my schedule, it's more like 1 or 2 days a week. It's gotten really, really sparse. So I'm barely maintaining what I have right now as far as my fitness. But I'm doing what I can. I'm trading that for what I think is other things that are high priority, like going to open mics and writing jokes, and um, trying to get good at this whole new thing that I'm doing that I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying it out and making waves. So I'm really excited for I'm opening for Ian Lara, which if you don't know, he's got like an HBO special, and he's been on Fallon like 3 times. Opening up for him in Pennsylvania in the Philly Burbs at Parks Casino, August 21st. So I'm really excited because that's my first like real legit gig since all of this. Like Kill Tony was amazing, but it's a whirlwind, and it's a crazy situation. This is like my first legit booking since then, so I'm excited. So I've been working. It's 10 minutes. So I've been working trying to hit that 9 minute and 20 seconds of material, just to be respectful of the changeover and everything, and handing it off to the next person, because I don't know if I'll be handing it off straight to Ian or to a host or to another comic. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but it's exciting. I'm going to go up to Pennsylvania and stay the night at a casino and perform. And then the next day, August 22nd, I am flying to Austin, Texas. And if you could guess why, Kill Tony. I'm gonna try to get, since I didn't get a golden ticket, which I'm kind of bummed about. But since I didn't get a golden ticket, I'm going to try to get one. And so I'm gonna go down. I rented an Airbnb for 3 weeks, just blowing through all of my savings trying to make this happen. And I'm going to spend 3 weeks. That's 3 attempts. That's 3 Mondays that I'm going to be down there. And meanwhile, while I'm down there, I've already talked to some other folks that are offering me like spots in their shows and stuff. And there's a podcast that a comic has asked me to be on while I'm down there. So things are already kind of lining up. I've been putting it out into the world that, hey, I'm coming back to Texas. And so I'm excited to do that. But I was talking earlier in the stream about jokes and stuff, and how that might be fun to do if we do like a regular live stream every week, and just I can like talk about jokes I've been writing and stuff. And so that's how I got on the whole therapy thing, was that I graduated therapy. And so I don't know if there's a joke there, but I feel like there is. Like I could contrast it with like how unstable I am or something, or how crazy everything is, but I don't need a therapist. Or that's very new because that happened today. So I just wrote down literally in my phone. So I have an iPhone. I use the Notes app, and this is how I keep track of these random thoughts that come to mind that I'm like, oh, I might want to write something about that. And then later, I usually crack open like a Word document on my computer or something, or I write it on the phone and just fill it out. And I just try to essay format the idea and just write whatever comes to mind. Not necessarily trying to be a joke, but just write a paragraph or two about that one-liner thought. So graduated therapy. So what I would do for that one is then I would just write paragraphs about basically what I already described on the stream about like why I'm not gonna see my therapist regularly anymore, about how she's seen everything since before, all the way since June of or May of 2023. I've been seeing her weekly, bi-weekly, every 3 weeks, like not any longer than a month out. So it's like we were always talking. And then I would just write all that stuff out and then just see if there's anything that I could make funny out of all that material or anything that kind of seems funny already. Um, and then, of course, the middle child thing about middle child and me decided to come out as trans and Jewish in the middle of a culture war where the focus on trans people and Jews are at an all-time high. And so, it's all the attention that a middle child never got. That's not the joke, obviously, but that's the thoughts that I'm like, maybe there's a joke there. And it is kind of like, I could probably tag that with my collecting identities people hate joke, which already exists, where I list off I'm trans, I'm Jewish, womanish, and I do CrossFit. People hate that, or we never shut up about that. And my favorite band is Nickelback. So that joke, I feel like then maybe I could talk about being middle child, or I could use the whole middle child later and just talk about my family or something. I don't know. I'm barely a comedian. I don't know what I'm doing. So that's kind of what's going on in my head. And I'm going to write some more about that. I also tested one last night. I did two open mics last night back to back. Um, it's funny. The second open mic was in a goth fetish club, which is well known in my city because it's been around for so long. It's a private club, and they have non-private nights that anyone can go in and just get a drink, sit down, and they have like a horror film on, and it's just chill. People are playing board games and stuff. And I didn't realize until I got in there how much of my practice 10-minute set I'm doing for Pennsylvania, how much of my material is like, so I could, like, it's not kink shaming, but I joke about weird fetishes in one of my jokes. And then as I was like delivering it, I was like, oh God, I'm in Fallout. That's the name of the place, sorry. Fallout. So I'm like, here I am telling about this weird fetish in a place that probably it's like child's play compared to what the type of membership is into, because they're into all kinds of things. And that's great. I would never kink shame. But in the joke, I kind of joke about it. Anyway, I also had a tag to one of my jokes about trans is one degree separation from a furry in one of my jokes. And I don't know if this was a furry, but someone was wearing an animal mask and paws right in front of me as I was getting close to where I normally do it. And I couldn't do it. I chickened out. I could not say it because I just felt like I've never done stand up here before. It's an open mic. It's on a Monday night. It's a slow night. I'm just happy people are here. Maybe the joke about the weird fetish stuff and then also a joke about a furry is probably not the best idea to do at a goth fetish nightclub. Ah, so that was awkward. But one of the jokes yesterday that I did earlier was about my first experience with a man given a blowjob, and it did okay. It's basically the idea there is that my ex-wife was really good at it, and I had to ask her, I'm like, what were you doing down there? Because it's you would think because I have one, it would be easy, and it's not like. there's skill involved, and so you gotta have a lot of focus too. You can't lack focus. So I asked my ex-wife about, blowjob technique. I was like, you figured it out. I mean, you weren't great at first, but she got there. I don't know what she did to learn, or who. Now, it's a two-hand twist. That's what does it. And so the joke talks about that, about me asking her about that, and her telling me, and me trying it. And yeah, two hands twisting and a little bit of moisture on the head with your mouth. You actually don't need a lot of the dick in your mouth, apparently. Um, yeah, and just like the movie, he was done in 60 seconds. I don't know. I don't know about that being the punchline. I tried that last night. I said gone in 60 seconds, but I don't know if gone in 60 seconds sounds right, or does it sound like I scared him away? But I was like, oh, this method I learned from my ex-wife really worked. And then, just like the movie, I want to say he came in 60 seconds, but then I'm like, is that too confusing? Is it silly trying to make a early 2000s Nicolas Cage movie reference, which was a remake of I guess, an even earlier movie, Gone in 60 Seconds? See, that's what we could be working out here. If y'all post in chat, what do you think? Um, what's a better way to end that joke? I feel like like my mind is going to the place of it worked so well that all it took was no time, basically, to make him come, from the technique I learned from my ex-wife. And I'm such a nerd for movies that I was like, oh, Gone in 60 Seconds. That'd be funny if he like came in 60 seconds. But maybe I'm just reaching too hard for that reference. Um, what do you think? What would be a good way to end that? I don't know. Be cool to hear ideas. That's for sure. If you post them in chat, I would love to hear ideas for stuff like that, and something we could do weekly. I could just share what I've been writing, and y'all can give me your ideas, and maybe we'll make some jokes together. That's fun. I also did a suicide joke yesterday at the open mic. Not at the goth fetish club, but at the other open mic. God, now that I say that, it sounds funny. That I did kink shaming and almost a furry joke at a goth fetish club while a furry was staring at me. And I couldn't bring myself to do the furry joke in front of him, in front of them. I don't know. I don't know what the pronouns are. But I did do a suicide joke. I talked about my experience with being down and depressed, and um, yeah, I don't know. It comes from because like a lot of the comments I receive on my posts whenever I get a lot of crazy anti-trans people on Twitter, and I think some of them are bots. But every now and then my posts will get picked up by like a turf war of like a it's like a whole troll farm of thing people. I don't know what they are, but it's like every now and then I'll post something on X. Sorry, you can't dead name Elon's babies except for his trans daughter, but he doesn't like it when you say Twitter. Uh, X. So sometimes I post stuff on there and it goes nowhere, and then sometimes I post stuff on there like I posted. It was a meme from when I was on the Daily Show with Jordan Clever. I had a quote on there that went viral, and I posted it because it was like a meme format, and I thought, oh, this is funny. I'll just post it, and it went viral. It got like 6.5 million views, and I'd realized that it's like it hit some sort of algorithm that just brought in all of these people saying almost identical things. It's all of the standard like anti-trans stuff, which I'm kind of immune to now. But at that time, it was really surprising because a lot of people were saying 42%, 40%. Don't be part of the 42%. It would be a shame if you were a part of the 42%. And I'm like, that's kind of a weird anti-trans thing to say. What does that even mean? And I Googled it. I think I Googled like 40% have to do with being trans or something. I forget what I did, and I figured it out. It's like the suicide rate or something, or it was one of the suicide statistics. And so it's a way that people on X can say you should think about harming yourself. And I'm just like, wow, like that's an interesting way to do it. Um, it might come back to that, of course, because if you go dark, I'll go darker. It was, I said to a few of them, I said, well, joke's on you. If you combine that with the veteran suicide rate, then I, I'm damn lucky to be alive. Like it's like 80% for me being trans and a veteran. I don't know. I thought it was funny, but that's not the suicide joke I told. I mean, that was in it, but that was not the main part. The main part was like an exchange over the phone on the suicide hotline and getting through the VA, getting partnered up with like a Vietnam veteran, and about how my sad feelings don't compare to someone who's been in Vietnam. And I thought that was a funny, like, what if you called the VA because you're feeling down? It's like, oh, I just feel really sad or whatever. You know, it's like real mild, like loneliness type stuff. And the guy on the other end is like, why are you wasting my time? Like, call me back. Like, you're having a tough week. I'm having a tough life, which is actually an old Dane Cook thing when he talks about talking to his dad. So I didn't want to steal that part, tough week, tough life, but I wanted to kind of like reimagine that idea of like, what if I called and there was a Vietnam vet and he was just like not interested in what I had to say, and he's like, look, stop being a pussy, basically, you know? Oh, I remember how it ended. I tested it yesterday. I was like, oh, and he's right before he hung up, he was like, you know, grow a pair. And well, actually, I'm trans. I'm thinking about taking those off. And then his response is just Jesus Christ, and he hangs up. And something about pissing off a boomer reminds me of good times with my dad. See, it makes me laugh when I say it, but I have no idea. I'm a big fan of Mike Birbiglia. He does the Working It Out podcast where he talks about jokes and joke writing. And he says, look, if you're not laughing at your jokes, like you got to at least start there. So I feel like at least I'm laughing at them. He also says like if you're writing a joke and you imagine the audience laughing, that's probably not where you want to be. If you're writing a joke and you're laughing or you think it's funny, that's a good place to be. And then the audience, when they do laugh, that's them relating to you because you're telling them something about yourself, most likely, even if it's abstract, because you're telling them about your humor and you're saying, hey, audience, I think this is funny. What do you think? And then they laugh, and that's like them saying, I also think it's funny. Anyway, I'm such a dork. Like, that's how my brain works is like, oh, I love how that's broken down, and it's like a call and response. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just listening to a lot of comedians' podcasts like I have for most of my adult life. I grew up on Family Guy. That was my Simpsons. Robot Chicken, like just crazy funny stuff. Napoleon Dynamite. So my humor is all over the place, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make people go ha ha. What else did I test yesterday? I think I've got them on my computer here. Stand up. 10-minute set. Oh, this one was kind of funny. Um, well, hopefully, right? If they're jokes. I actually didn't test this. I wrote it down and missed it when I was doing my set. I do that a lot. Like I'll skim over. I'll read a bullet point and be like, tell that joke, and then I'll read the next bullet point. I'll miss that there was something added to it. Anyway, one of the things I would try to do as a segue into dating is like, oh, I'm dating now, because I have a joke that starts that way. I'm dating now. I'm on this app called Hinge, and I'm what they call a pansexual, or as I call it, a take any sexual. Oh, God. I think that's kind of funny. I don't know if that's been done. Someone comment if someone's done that. Like that's the other thing I'm like afraid of is I'm such a fan of comedy. I've consumed so much over the years that I'm probably recycling people's stuff. Like I'm a huge Dane Cook fan, and like I said earlier, like I find myself getting close to you know, borderline reimagining some of his stuff. So I gotta be careful. Was that claps? Oh, thanks, Tori. Nice. So you liked the pansexual, anisexual? Is that what you're clapping for? Yeah, and then like the whole middle child thing there too. I feel like, oh, because I never got enough love. I'm just, oh, no, I don't like that. What they call pansexual, or as I call it, take any sexual. I'm just lonely. Thanks, Tori. I appreciate it. Tori says yes. Pansexual, anisexual. All right, that's a good one. I'm gonna check that. Like that's a good one to try out because since I missed it, the open mic. One that I have that's actually been working that's a new one is I used to work at Chick-fil-A, and so one time they had me be the cow at an elementary school where they were doing a parade of all of the restaurant mascots indoors. And that's the real premise. That's really what happened. And so I mean that's just funny right there, right? Like the idea of a bunch of restaurant mascots like parading through an elementary school. Andy the Armadillo was there. Uh, Bucky the Beaver, that fucking diva was there. Ooh, Bucky the Beaver. I've got brisket and bathrooms. Fuck Bucky. What else? I can't remember any other mascots that were there. And to be honest, I don't think Bucky was there. This was Tennessee. But being that I do so much of this stuff in Texas, I put Bucky in the story. I do remember Andy the Armadillo being there for Texas Roadhouse. I know there were others, I just can't remember which ones were there. The cow from Chick-fil-A was there. I should probably Google if the cow from Chick-fil-A actually has a name because I've never heard it and I've actually been the cow, so it might be good to know. I also had another joke I was writing about Buc-ee's because I haven't been and I'm refusing to go because it's like, trying liquor for the first time and because, you don't ever try it because you know you'll like it. That didn't sound right. Some people say that about cigars, like, oh, do you want a cigar? It's like, no, I haven't tried it because I know I'll like it too much. Um, I guess you could say that about heroin, right? A lot of people really like that. Anyway, oh, that could be funny. Like, I haven't tried Buc-ee's, just like I haven't tried heroin. Like, and I only say that because the types of people that like Buc-ee's are like obsessed with Buc-ee's. Like, it's like a whole thing. Like, I was on a plane coming back from Texas after Kill Tony, and someone was wearing a Buc-ee's shirt. Someone else saw the Buc-ee's shirt, said, "Oh, Buc-ee's, you go to Buc-ee's?" And that person respond. They had a whole fucking conversation about Buc-ee's. Two strangers. Look at that, bringing them together. Like, why should I be upset about Buc-ee's if it's bringing people together? But you know what's funny about Buc-ee's is it's only bringing together obese, out of shape people that like big gas stations and clean bathrooms. I don't know. I feel like there's a joke there. Like, there's got to be something there. It's also kind of like a cult following, and I did some research, and many of the aspects are. Thanks, Tori. Tori sends LOL. Um, Many of the like tenets of a cult you could overlay with Bucky's, like people who don't want outside opinions, people who always think they're right, and there's one big leader, religious figure, which could be Bucky the Beaver. And then the fact that they do like sacrifice ritual in there. And of course, like I said, I haven't been, but I Googled this shit and there's YouTube videos. There's a time when the brisket comes out and the guy puts it on the board and chops it and it's fresh. And people gather around and wait for brisket time. And it's like an animal sacrifice because get this, they sing. The guy puts out the brisket and he chops it and he says, fresh brisket on the board. And then they all standing around echo that, just like a worship service. They go, fresh brisket on the board. And then they consume the brisket. And I'm like, I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh, it is a cult. It's a cult. Buc-ee's is a freaking cult. I don't know. I got to put it together somehow, but I really want to do something about that. I didn't fit in the Chick-fil-A cow outfit, by the way. I was too tall. And so, in order to keep it from separating between the pants and the top, I had to hunch. So, I was walking around this elementary school, hunched. I was like the hunchback of Chick-fil-A screaming cow sanctuary everywhere I went. Sanctuary! Esmeralda! Uh, that was a weird black and white movie, by the way. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Quasimodo. I liked the Disney version better. But yeah, no, it was weird. And then like kids just come up to you and they hug you and stuff and touch you when you're wearing the cow outfit. Um yeah, it's very uncomfortable, probably because I'm not a pedophile. Although if I was a pedophile, especially a lazy one, being the Chick-fil-A cow would be a great way because to do your is it called peddling? What do you what does a pedophile do? Do they peddle? That's kind of funny. Uh, I guess they diddle. But if you're a lazy pedophile, kids come up to you, they touch you. You haven't done anything wrong. You're not in trouble. If there's any pedophiles out there, it's a good tip. Dress up as a Chick-fil-A cow. Yeah, that's the Chick-fil-A cow pedophile joke. What else do we got? Mm, yeah, that's the stuff I'm working right now. So most of that, not the Bucky stuff. The Chick-fil-A cow one is gonna be in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure that's gonna make it to my 10 minutes. The rest of the stuff is a mix that I've done on Kill Tony. It's kind of like the first few minutes of my Pennsylvania set will start with basically the Kill Tony minute extended. Because I actually didn't get to finish the joke on Kill Tony. I messed up either time or something, or they start the clock when you come out of the curtain and not when you grab the mic and start to. I don't know. But if it didn't seem like I had as much time as when I timed myself, or I just, because I was so nervous, I was going slower, maybe trying to pace myself. I don't know. But at the end of they found out I'm converting to Judaism, which happens on the Kill Tony minute. I say, my hobby lately is collecting identities that people hate. And then I expand on that and I say, yeah, I've got trans, I've got Jew-ish, I've got woman-ish. I'm really into CrossFit. We never showed up about that. What else? Oh, my favorite band is Nickelback. I'm like a DEI wet dream. If DEI wasn't dead, I would be living the dream. But this is what you voted for, America. I could be flying my Black Hawk right now, but instead I'm telling dick jokes. Thank you, President Trump. Yeah, I don't know about the President Trump part, but all the way up to could be flying Blackhawks instead of telling dick jokes. That worked really well recently. I added that. That's a new tag. I did that in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, with a bunch of old white people that probably voted Republican, and they were all laughing. So it was good. Um, let's see what else. I think that's about it. Yeah, this was a fun little test. All right. Yeah, 40 minutes of me just, jaw jacking, as they say. Thanks so much for joining, Tori. I really appreciate you interacting and chatting with me. This was really cool. Maybe we'll do it again next Tuesday. Maybe this will become like a regular thing. That'd be really exciting. The more interaction, obviously, be more fun because then we can play off each other's ideas and we can make more jokes and stuff. Like, I think that'd be really cool. And of course, I'm open to questions. If y'all just have random questions or whatever, Ask a Trans Anything is always open. So, thank you all so much. Have a good one. Nighty night.